Shortstop, number 24, Viktor Wahlberg. Number 41, first baseman, Tobias Gummerud. Number 29, catcher, Jakob Lindqvist. Number 5, DH, Simon Horne. Number 23, right fielder, Lukas Jelisor. Number 32, center fielder, Sam Herman. Number 27, third base, Felix Hill. Number 17, second baseman, Emil Fagerlund. Starting pitcher, number 22, Linus Ritzen. And the rest of the team. Now for the home team, Ukraine. Shortstop, number 6, Bermistrov. I'm sorry.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome here to the beautiful confines here at the Ahorn Ballpark in Paderborn, Germany for the U-23 B-Pool European Championships 2026. Our first game of the day is going to take place at 10 o'clock this morning. The visitors on the scoreboard already lined up in navy blue and yellow is the team out of Sweden. And they're taking on the home team on the scoreboard, Ukraine, as Ukraine lines up down the third base line. As I said, the game will begin at 10 o'clock, and we'll now give you the starting lineups for both teams. For Sweden, leading off and playing left field, number 21, Elias Nordzel. Batting second, the shortstop, a hometown favorite from Paderborn, number 24, Viktor Wahlberg. Playing first base, number 41, Tobias Glimmerud. Catching for Team Sweden, number 29, Jakob Lindqvist. The designated hitter, number 5, Simon Horne. The right fielder, number 23, Lukas Jelnor. In center field, number 32, Sam Herman. Playing third base, number 27, Felix Hill. Playing second base, number 17, Emil Fagerlund. And on the hill for Team Sweden, number 22, Linus Ritzen.
Rise from your seats for the national anthem of Sweden.
Now we will take a moment as the national anthem from Sweden is now played.
And now the national anthem for the Ukraine.
And now, the national anthem for the Ukraine. Now the lineup for the home team out of Ukraine. Leading off, playing shortstop, number 6, Mikita Bermistrov. Playing right field, number 9, Ilya Sheremeta. Designated hitter, number 16, Mikita Libak. First base, number 21, Daniel Kodakovsky. Second base, number 2, Bohdan Lushchenko. Catching for the Ukraine, number 22, Nikita Shevetsov. Playing third base, number 20, Matyev Styklov. Center field, number 14, Yevgeny Dmitriev. Playing left field, number 8, Artem Holubitsky. And on the mound for Ukraine, wearing number 15, Taras Kovalenko. Umpires for today's game. Behind the plate, Domen Reznik. At first base, Tony Jones. Third base, George Veit. Game will begin shortly. We'll be back in a moment. And we're back here in Paderborn, Germany, here at the beautiful confines at the Ahorn Ballpark. Kovalenko is finishing up his warm-up pitches as Sweden is going to lead off here in the top of the first inning. I had an opportunity to chat with a few of the coaches from Ukraine last night. They were explaining to me a 17-hour delay at the border to get out of Ukraine a couple days ago. That ended up canceling a practice for them last night here in Paderborn. They felt it was better for the boys to get a bigger rest and be able to lay down or stretch out a little bit more. Again, 17-hour delay at the border in Ukraine. That obviously put the bus driver. There are certain laws and regulations that bus drivers have to follow here in Europe. That allowed them to get here, but however, the bus driver was unable to continue driving. Hometown favorite Victor Wahlberg is playing for Team Sweden. Victor, of course, played for the Untouchables Paderborn Baseball Club in April and May. He's batting second. He is currently on deck. Now batting for Team Sweden, the left fielder, number 21, Elias Nordsel. That pitch taken up and in for ball one. Fastball, soft line drive that's going to get over the head of the shortstop as that sails into left center field. Nordsel is on base with a line drive single. And, of course, that's going to bring up the fan favorites here in Paderborn, Victor Wahlberg. Wahlberg's going to take a ball. Cars, of course, now working out of the stretch. Fastball just missing the outside corner, bringing the count to 2-0. Of course, here in Paderborn, they have a radar gun set up behind home plate. That number you see on that scoreboard just above the letter R is the speed of the pitch. Off speed, taken down and away. Taras Kovalenkov falling behind here. 3 balls and no strikes with the runner at first base. That ball is going to get away from the catcher as it heads to the backstop. As Nordsel scampers with a big round at second base, threatening to third, but no play as runners are now at first and second base with nobody out here in the top of the first inning. That's going to bring up number 41, Tobias Glimmerud. Kovalenko this time working ahead with strike one. As Glimmerud looks down and gets the signs. Shortstop made a break for second base as the pitcher threw the ball home. That off-speed pitch missing. That's going to even up the count here at 1 ball and 1 strike. Glimmerud dancing off of second base. That ball just missing the strike zone. Nordsel moving quite a bit at second base, drawing the attention of both the pitcher and shortstop. Fastball missing down and away. As third base coach Tony Klauberg once again giving signs to Glimmerud. That fastball taking up away as Kovalenko seems to be struggling with the strike zone. That's going to bring a coach out from Ukraine, and that is head coach, manager Yuri Boyko. comes out to talk to his pitcher as head coach and manager Tony Klarberg brings all the runners to home plate to give a talk to them. Of course, manager Tony Klarberg is the head of the Swedish Baseball Academy up in, I believe it's in Stockholm. Somebody could correct me if I'm wrong, but he has been there for many years, helping a lot of young men get to America, to college, helping a lot of young men in Sweden become just better baseball players. It is really a terrific program that they have up there. Many Swedish players, like our hometown favorite Victor Wahlberg, have enjoyed a few summers here in Germany playing baseball, and a lot of thanks goes out to Tony for providing players that are of high caliber. We're back now, as now Jakob Lindqvist steps up to bat. Bases are loaded with nobody out. Kovalenko working ahead this time with strike one. Kovalenko hoping for a twin killing here. A ground ball to the middle of corners would be a really, really helpful thing for Kovalenko and Moment. That ball fouled back out of play. Kovalenko first time today with a 2-strike count on the hitter. That ball sailing behind Lindqvist as the catcher flicks it back. First baseman backing up the play at the mound. Prevents another run from scoring, but that wild pitch is going to bring Nordsell across and give Sweden an early 1-0 lead. Kovalenko still with a 2-2 count on Lindqvist as the infield comes in. Little off-speed pitch gets Lindqvist out in front. That strikeout is going to give Ukraine one out with runners at second and third base. Now batting for Sweden, number 5, Simon Horne. Swinging from the left side a little while as he swings at an off-speed pitch down and in. Off-speed changeup runs up and away, bringing the count to 2 balls and 1 strike with 1 out. Shallow little infield flare. Shortstop Bermistrov jogs in and makes the play, giving us 2 outs here in the top of the first inning. Victor Wahlberg with some heads-up baseball, able to steal home on the throwback. That's going to give Sweden an early 2-0 lead now. Big swing and a miss. Out of Yelnor, now batting for Sweden. The right fielder, Lucas Yelnor. As Yelnor with a deep fly ball into left field. Hoblitsky unable to make the catch at the warning track. That double is going to give an RBI double. As Glimmerud crosses the plate, Sweden now leading 3-0. Soft line drive down into left center field. Chased down by number 14, Dmitriev. Makes the grab on the run. Stopping the bleeding here in the top of the first, hitting a terrific running catch from Yevgeny Dmitriev. We're headed to the bottom of the first inning with Sweden leading 3-0. We're back here in the bottom of the first inning as Ukraine gets their first opportunities up to bat. Leading off, the shortstop, number 6, Nikita Bermistrov. On the mound for Team Sweden, number 22, Linus Ritzen. Sweden able to come out early in the top of the first inning with an early 3-run lead here as the bottom of the first kicks off. Fastball pours in there, missing the zone, down and away at 79 miles an hour. That fastball just missing the top of the zone, bringing the count to 2 balls and no strikes. Burmistrov with an open stance as the catcher calls for another fastball. Rietzen falling behind early, 3 balls and no strikes. Kovalenko pitching for Ukraine, also struggling with the strike zone in the first inning. As that pitch apparently misses the zone. That's going to put a runner on first base for Ukraine as Burmistrov finds himself on first base with a leadoff walk. That's going to bring up the right fielder, number 9, Ilya Sheremetyev. Fastball for strike 1. Quick look over to first base, but Burmistrov is back in time. That fastball blown past Sheremetyev for strike number 2 as Rietzen moves into a slide step position, delivering the fastball to home plate. A little bit quicker motion this time out of Rietzen. Little off-speed pitch is going to clip the top of the zone. Sheremetyev not happy with the call. That strikeout is going to give 1 out here in the bottom of the first inning, as number 16, Mikita Libach, steps up to plate. Quick check over to first base. That fastball goes down the heart of the plate for strike number 1. Little longer look at the signs down at third base. As Rietzen comes set. That fastball just missing the zone, evening the count up at 1-1 with Burmistrov leading off first base. Little breaking ball gets Libach swinging. Some would say swinging out of the shoes there as he finds himself sitting on his backside after that swing. That brings the count to 1 ball and 2 strikes. Fastball fouled in the direction of the Swedish dugout. Of course, here the field here in Paderborn, fully padded all the way around. Nice padding in front of both dugouts. The outfield is completely padded. It's an outfielder's dream here in Paderborn, Germany. Off speed, soft ground ball to the second baseman. Fagerlund flicks over to Wahlberg, and Wahlberg to Glimmerud. A twin killing is going to end it for Ukraine here in the bottom of the first inning, as Libach grounds into an inning-ending double play. We're headed to the top of the second inning here with the score remaining Sweden 3, Ukraine 0. And we're back. Leading off for Sweden here in the top of the second inning is number 27, Felix Hill. And still on the mound for Ukraine, Taras Kovalenko, as Hill takes ball one up and in. That swing and a miss is going to even up the count here at 1 ball and 1 strike. Little off-speed pitch, clips the zone. Bring it to a 1 ball and 2 strike count against Hill. Another off-speed pitch gets a little bit of a check swing out of Hill. As the umpire checks down to first base, the no swing is given. It's going to remain 2 balls and 2 strikes with Fagerlund on deck. Kovalenko electing to go with an off-speed pitch that's just going to sail down and away. Leadoff walk here for Sweden in the bottom of the second, or top of the second inning here. As number 17, Emil Fagerlund, steps up to bat. Little bunt down the first base line. That's going to shoot foul. The bunt was popped up for a while. Number 21, Daniv Kodanowski, gave chase. Ball came down and rolled foul, as we're going to do it again. Fagerlund with a strike. This time Fagerlund not electing to bunt. Close pitch is going to even up the count here at 1 ball and 1 strike. Little off-speed pitch catches the outside corner for strike number 2. Fagerlund with some style in his back pocket. One of those sliding mitts. Looks like a candy cane in his back pocket as that breaking ball gets underneath the catcher. But Hill unable to advance to second base. I was able to walk around and during batting practice and see all the swag, or the drip as they call it. Fagerlund with a nice baby blue bat. As that pitch just misses the zone. Swing and a miss. Fagerlund goes down swinging. That's going to bring up the leadoff hitter, Elias Nordsell, who singled into shallow left field in the top of the first inning, getting Sweden going. Off-speed pitch, just sailing inside for ball number 1. As Nordsell not ready, calls time and steps out. That pitch catching the zone, evening the count back up here at 1 ball and 1 strike with Felix Hill leading off of first base. Outfield for Ukraine playing fairly straight up, little shallow in right field. As that off-speed pitch just misses the zone. Kovalenko making some good pitches, but unfortunately just missing the zone at times. As Nordsell swings through a fastball, bringing the count here to 2 balls and 2 strikes, with Felix Hill still leading off of first base. Hill taking off as Nordsell sends the ball into right field. A terrific catch. An amazing sliding catch from right fielder Ilya Sheremetyev. And as Hill broke on the pitch, he was unable to get back to first base. So Hill gets doubled off of first base. Nordsell with a little flare into shallow right field. Ilya Sheremetyev once again gave chase and made a sliding catch, and then able to throw the ball into Kodakowski at first base for the double play. We're headed to the bottom of the second inning with the score Sweden 3, Ukraine nothing. Mama.
In der Medizin. Die Zukunft ist bei uns im christlichen Klinikum Soest angekommen. Mako.
Mako ist ein roboterarm-assistiertes Operationsverfahren, was wir routinemäßig bei Hüft- und Knieprothesen einsetzen. Wie das funktioniert, zeige ich Ihnen am 14. September im Ahorn-Ballpark Paderborn. Der Eintritt ist frei, los geht's um 17 Uhr. Ich freue mich auf Sie.
And we're back here in the bottom of the second inning here at Ahorn Ballpark. After an inning-ending double play, Ukraine leads off with number 21, Daniel Kodakowski. Kodakowski swinging from the left side of the plate as he takes a 77-mile-an-hour fastball down and away for strike number 1. Kodakowski jumps on top of the foul ball for strike number 2. Rietzen throwing in a combination of a 4-seam fastball and a 2-seam fastball. Curveball and a changeup. And there's that changeup right there. Running down and away from Kodakowski. Rietzen picking up his first strikeout of the day. That strikeout is going to bring up number 2, Bohdan Lyshchenko. Shallow pop-up behind the first baseman. Glimmerud giving chase. Making the grab in shallow right field is Glimmerud. That's going to make it 2 outs here in the bottom of the second inning. That brings up number 22, Nikita Shevtsov. Fastball, soft dribbler to first base. First baseman picks it up, flicks it over to Rietzen, covering the bag, and that's going to end the inning here in the bottom of the second inning. We're headed to the top of the third. Score remains Sweden 3, Ukraine 0. And we're back. Once again, leading off for Sweden, number 24, hometown favorite, Victor Wahlberg. For those of you just joining us, Victor, playing for the local club here, the Untouchables Paderborn Baseball Club in the German Deutsche Baseball Liga. Takes a fastball for ball one. Victor out of the Swedish Baseball Academy, which of course is managed and directed and by its founder, Tony Klarberg. As Wahlberg takes ball number two. Klarberg coaching third base for this Swedish team. As Kovalenko finds himself behind 3 balls and no strike, the Swedish Baseball Academy is typically a 3-year program for grades 10 through 12, ages 16 to 19, for both baseball and softball athletes, as Wahlberg draws a leadoff walk. Primarily focusing on year-round conditioning, skills training. Does many international clinics, has many Major League Baseball coaches, former Major League Baseball players. A good friend of mine, Andy's up there right now, I believe, running a few camps and clinics for the Swedish baseball clubs. As Kovalenko works ahead with strike number 1. Andy Berglund, of course, working with Bjorn Johansson. I'm sure both of them are watching up there. A big hello to you boys. As Wahlberg takes off towards second base. Hard ground ball hit over to first base. First baseman Kodakovsky able to knock it down and make the play as Wahlberg was off on the pitch. That's going to give us here 1 out in the top of the third with Wahlberg leading off of second base. That's going to bring up number 29, the catcher, Jakob Lindqvist. As I said, Tony, managing and director and founder of the Swedish Baseball Academy, has prepared many young student athletes to head over to America to go to college. As Lindqvist swings through that fastball. Of course, Bjorn Johansson's younger brother, Peter Johansson, has been playing for the Mainz Athletics here in Germany for at least the better part of 15 years. As Wahlberg's going to get himself caught in a rundown, an inside move from Kovalenko. Wahlberg with a little juke and a deke move, able to slide under the tag of Steiklov. Sometimes it's better to be lucky than good as Wahlberg finds himself on third base. Terrific inside move from Kovalenko, but unable to get the easy out at third base. Ukraine playing with the infield in. That off-speed pitch is going to get fouled out of play as Lindqvist finds himself in a hole with one out, runner on third base, and Ukraine with the infield in. Fastball taken off the plate, a purpose pitch. Kovalenko using a combination of a fastball, a changeup, and a little breaking ball today. Having some success with the breaking ball. Let's see what he goes to here on the 1-2 count. Little breaking ball just missing the plate. Fastball down and away. And all of a sudden, from an 0-2 count to a full count, it's a pitching coach's worst nightmare. Let's see if Kovalenko can come back with a strike. Little off-speed pitch. Poked into left field. That's going to get down for a single as Wahlberg crosses the plate. Giving Sweden now a 4-run lead. And Lindqvist finds himself at first base as manager Yuri Boyko heads to the mound to talk to his pitcher. Looks like there's going to be a pitching change for Ukraine. As number 16, Mikita Libach, is now on the mound replacing Kovalenko. We'll be back after a few warm-up pitches. So the designated hitter, Mikita Lipka, is now on the mound for Ukraine as number 5, the designated hitter, Simon Herne, is now up to bat. Taking strike 1 is Herne. Of course, Lindquist still leading off of first base with 1 out here in the top of the 3rd inning. As a fastball sails up and away, evening up the count here. 1 ball, 1 strike. Liebach finding himself behind 2 balls and 1 strike with a runner at first base as that pitch just misses the zone, making it a 3 ball, 1 strike count. Runner's going to stay put on the 3-1 as Horna takes strike 2, bringing the count full with Lindquist leading off of first base. Ball taken just downstairs. That walk is going to put runners at first and second with number 23, right fielder Lucas Yelner, coming up to bat. Yelner in his first at bat hit a deep fly ball into left field, just getting past the left fielder and landing on the warning track. As he takes strike 1. Outfield for Ukraine still playing fairly shallow. As the fastball sails up and in, evening up the count in 1-1. Infield, of course, at double play depth. Fastball fouled away. Liebach entering the game. 84-mile-an-hour fastball. Throwing a bit firmer than the previous starting pitching. Little fastball to the 4-hole. Second baseman slides over, flicks. They're going to get the out at second base. Horn's going to be out at second base as Burmistrov with a quick fake throw and a turn to third. But Lindquist paying attention at third base and not rounding too hard. That fielder's choice is going to give us 2 outs here in the top of the second base. Excuse me, at the top of the 3rd inning. That's going to bring up number 32, center fielder Sam Harriman. Fastball, soft ground ball, backhand by shortstop and fired on over. Close play at first base, but not in time. Hammond hustling down the line. That's going to be an infield base hit that drives in an RBI and gives Sweden another run. Check the replay. Burmistrov, backhand thrown over. Hammond just beating the throw. As the next batter draws ball 1. Ball taken upstairs, bringing the count to 3 balls and no strikes. That's going to be a 4-pitch walk for Felix Hill, bringing up the number 9 hitter, second baseman number 17, Emil Fagerlund. That fastball sails up and in. Of course, we find ourselves with the bases loaded. And Fagerlund up to bat. As that fastball sails up out of the zone, bringing the count to 2 balls and no strikes. Liebach able to induce a few weak contacts. However, the ball escaping some of the infielders. Finds himself struggling with the strike zone as he fires in a 3-0 strike. With 2 outs and the bases loaded. Liebach with the delivery. That 84-mile-an-hour fastball pours in there to make the count full with 2 outs. The runners will be on the move on the pitch. An inside move from Liebach. Close play. And Sam Hammond is caught with an inside move from Liebach as the second baseman, Bohdan Lushenko, breaks to second base, and they're able to pick off Hammond at second base. A base running blunder here by Sweden in the top of the third is going to end the threat. We're headed to the bottom of the third inning. Sweden 5, Ukraine 0. And we're back here in the bottom of the third inning here at the beautiful confines of the Ahorn Ballpark in Paderborn, Germany. Ukraine finds itself down by 5 runs here in the bottom of the third inning as number 20, Matyev Steiklov, leads off. For Sweden on the mound, number 22, Linus Ritzen. Ritzen today with a combination of 4-seam fastball, 2-seam fastball, changeup and curveball, has so far been able to keep the team from Ukraine in check. As that fastball finds the zone, jumping ahead with strike number 1. Little off-speed pitch. Is going to sail in there, and Steichloff unable to check his swing. Umpire saying he offered at the pitch, and that's going to bring the count to 0-2. As another breaking ball is dribbled down the first baseline. Glimmerud's going to pick it up and do it himself. As Steichloff grounds out for the first out here of the inning in the bottom of the third. That's going to bring up number 14, Yevgeny Dmitriev, center fielder. Fastball fouled back out of play. Off-speed pitch is going to sail inside as Dmitriev turns out of the way. Fastball fouled back and out of play. As the catcher gives his signs, Rietzen with the delivery. Looking like a little changeup. Sailing down and in, but Dmitriev able to foul it away and stay alive, keeping the count at 1 ball and 2 strikes. Rietzen looking to go fastball up and in. Sails it out and away. That's going to get Dmitriev to pop it up to second baseman Fagerlund for the second out of the inning. Rietzen reaching back a little bit on that pitch, inducing the pop-up for the second out. That's going to bring up number 8, Artem Holubitsky. That pitch just missing the bottom of the zone, evening the count back up to 1-1. Little breaking ball. Fools Holubitsky, and he finds himself down in a hole. 1 ball and 2 strikes. A little reach back fastball from Rietzen. Evens up the count at 2 balls and 2 strikes. Little off-speed pitch. Fools Holubitsky, and he goes down swinging. That's going to do it here for us in the bottom of the third. We're headed to the top of the fourth. Sweden 5, Ukraine 0. And we're back here in the top of the fourth inning as number 17, Emil Fagerlund, once again gets the opportunity to lead off for Sweden. Last inning, bases were loaded, and a good pickoff attempt from Liebach ended the inning. Of course, Fagerlund was the batter up to bat with a full count. He will now lead off as he finds himself with a 2-ball, no-strike count against Liebach. Little off speed's going to sail arm side and in. That's going to give Fagerlund a 3-0 count. Leadoff walk for Fagerlund. And that's going to bring up the leadoff hitter, number 21, Elias Nordzel. Nordzel today with a single into left field and a fly out. An outstanding catch by right fielder Sharametta, which ended the threat, I believe, in the second inning. As Nordzel raises his hands, but the umpire also raises a hand, giving strike one. Fagerlund leading off of first base. As that fastball sails up and in on Liebach. Little off-speed pitch gets away from Liebach, bringing the count to 2-1 strikes. I would be remiss if I didn't inform our viewers out there that the U-23 tournament is a 7-inning game. It is my understanding that the only 9-inning games played in international competition are in the men's division. Anything under the men's division, U-23, U-18, or even U-15 are 7-inning games. Fastball line drive into right field. That's going to get down in front of the right fielder as Fagerlund with a big turn at second base. Able to get back as the ball is thrown into Vermistrov. Solid piece of hitting from Nordzel, sending that ball into right field. That's going to give Sweden runners at first and second with nobody out as the hometown favorite, number 24, Victor Wahlberg, comes up to bat. Little off-speed pitch gets away from Liebach. Wahlberg turning out of the way is going to get on first base with a hit by pitch. That's going to load up the bases as manager Yuri Boyko out to talk with his pitcher. Of course, Liebach started the game as a designated hitter. Coming in relief of Taras Kovalenko in the third inning. Ukraine finds himself down 5-0 with the bases loaded and nobody out. And they are turning to number 7, Pavlo Melniklov. With the bases loaded, nobody out. We'll be back after this break. As Melniklov finishes his warm-up pitches, he finds himself in a bit of a pickle with the bases loaded and nobody out here in the top of the fourth inning. Left-handed hitting Tobias Glimerud steps up to bat. Outfielders shifting to the pull side as the infield holding the runners close, hoping for a double play. Melniklov evening up the count at 1 strike. Little off-speed pitch. Falling behind here, 2 strike. Ukraine hoping to once again induce an inning-ending double play as they were able to do in the second inning. That pitch going to bring the count to 3 strike as Glimerud digs back in. That ball just missing the zone. That walk is going to keep the bases loaded, but gives Sweden another run across, bringing the score to 6-0. That's going to bring up number 29, Jakob Lindqvist, with a strikeout and a single into left field. Lindqvist is 1 for 2 on the day as strike number 1 goes over the plate. Working ahead now, no balls, 1 strike with the bases loaded and nobody out in the top of the fourth. Fastball hammered through the 6-hole on the left side of the infield. It's going to be station-to-station baseball for Sweden as another run comes across. And Lindqvist is aboard with an RBI single. That pitch just missing the zone. And now batting for Sweden, number 5, Simon Horne. Hitting from the left side, slight open stance. Outfield playing for a massive shift as right fielder Ilya Shemeta hugging the foul line in right field. Little off-speed pitch. But Shitsov is able to knock it down and keep it in front of him for a 2-1 count. Bases are still loaded. Nobody out here in the top of the 4th inning. Breaking ball down in the dirt. Horne has swung through. That's going to even the count back up here at 2-2. Horne aggressive on the 2-1. Fastball, that's going to get through the right side of the infield as it gets into right center field. Center fielder Dmitriev picks it up and fires it back into the infield. It's going to be a 2 RBI single as Horne is able to advance to second base as the throw gets over the cutoff man. 2 RBI single for Horne. That's going to make the score 9-0 for Sweden. That's going to bring up number 23, the right fielder Lucas Yelner. Off-speed pitch taken down the middle for strike number 1. Little tapper out in front of home plate, picked up by the catcher and fired on to first base in time. Yelner is going to be out at first base. None of the runners able to advance on the play as the ball was tapped 2-3 meters in front of home plate. Nice play by the catcher, Shevtsov. Now batting for Sweden, number 32, Sam Hammond. Little off-speed pitch goes up and in. Hammond turning away, but unable to get out of the way. He's going to find himself on first base with a hit by pitch. That's going to load the bases up for Sweden. That's going to bring up number 27, the third baseman, Felix Hill. Hill taking strike number 1. Little tapper behind the mound. Shortstop flips onto second base and on time at first base. A twin killing. Bermistrov to the Shaiko to Kodakowski. Inning-ending double play. That's going to leave the score at 9-0 for Sweden as we head to the bottom of the 4th inning.
Seit jeher strebt die Menschheit nach Fortschritt. Sie greift sogar nach den Sternen. Sie realisiert im Hier und Jetzt Was gestern noch unmöglich schien. Auch in der Medizin. Die Zukunft ist bei uns im christlichen Klinikum Soest angekommen. Mako.
Mako ist ein roboterarm-assistiertes Operationsverfahren, was wir routinemäßig bei Hüft- und Knieprothesen einsetzen. Wie das funktioniert, zeige ich Ihnen am 14. September im Ahorn-Ballpark Paderborn. Der Eintritt ist frei, los geht's um 17 Uhr. Ich freue mich auf Sie.
We're back here in the bottom of the fourth inning as Rietzen delivers the pitch. Little off-speed pitch taken down for ball one. Burmistrov leading off here for Ukraine. Started the double play that ended the top of the fourth as he swings on and pops it up behind the first baseman. Glimmerud backing up and making the catch as the pop-up is caught here for out number one in the bottom of the fourth inning. Dimitrov, however, did start the inning-ending double play that got Ukraine out of a jam. In the top of the fourth, unable to get on base here in the bottom of the fourth, and that's going to bring up number 9, Ilya Sheremetyev. Sheremetyev taking strike one. Sheremetyev striking out in his only plate appearance of the day. Finds himself with a 1-ball, 1-strike count. Big swing and a miss. It's going to make the count 1 ball and 2 strikes. The new pitcher finding himself on deck, that is Pavlo Melniklov. Catcher liked the pitch. The umpire disagreed. As the count now even back up here at 2 balls and 2 strikes. Close pitch from Rietzen. Sweden playing extremely shallow in the outfield. As Rietzen buries a breaking ball in the 2-2. Bringing the count full, 3 balls and 2 strikes. A little bit of haze and dust coming into the ballpark behind home plate. Hopefully it has no effect on the hitter. As the ball's fouled out of play. Sheremetyev staying alive with Melniklov on deck with 1 out in the bottom of the 4th inning. Fastball swung on, popped into shallow center field. Shortstop Wahlberg, no stranger to the confines here at Ahorn Ballpark, drifts back and makes the grab. That's going to be 2 outs here in the bottom of the 4th inning. Again, that's going to bring up the pitcher, Melnikov. As Melnikov takes strike one. Changeup yanked down and away, evening the count back up here at 1 ball and 1 strike. Little off-speed pitch is going to clip the inside corner, bringing the count to 1 ball and 2 strikes. The Swedish outfielders have to be about 15 meters from the infield dirt. Very shallow at all 3 levels. Little breaking ball taken down and away. That's going to even the count back up to 2 balls and 2 strikes against Melnikov. Fastball just missing the zone, bringing the count here full. That little dust storm was brought to you by a little bit of a construction project that's going on behind the ballpark here. That fastball's taken down the middle. Locked up and sat down is Melnikov as that strikeout ends the inning here in the bottom of the 4th inning. We're headed to the top of the 5th. Sweden 9, Ukraine nothing. We're back here in the top of the 5th. Of course, Pavlo Melnikov finds himself still on the mound here for Ukraine. Melnikov took over in the top of the 4th, came out with the bases loaded, 2 outs, nobody out, and was able to get him out with a ground out and a double inning-ending double play. Unfortunately, he's going to find himself with a leadoff runner as Fagerlund is going to take first base on a hit by pitch. That's going to bring up the leadoff man, number 21, Elias Nordsell. Nordsell 2 for 3 on the day with 2 line drives, 1 to left and 1 to right. Putting on a bit of a hitting display is Nordsell. with Fagerlund leading off. First base, Nordso squared around a little bit, but pulled back in time, taking ball one. As manager Tony Klarberg gives the signs over at third base. This inning also finds Team Ukraine playing with a shallower outfield, as the outfield in Ukraine has noticeably taken a few steps in. Both middle infielders are at double play depth as the third baseman creeps in on the grass. Pitch taken down and away for ball number 2. That off-speed pitch just missing the zone. That's going to give Nordsell an advantaged 3-0 count. Of course, the weather today being absolutely perfect. Light breeze. Temperatures are going to be in the low 30s for my American friends out there who happen to be watching around the world. It's going to be in the upper 80s and low 90s here in Paderborn with a nice light breeze. That fastball fouled away into his own dugout down the first baseline. As Melnikov able to claw himself back into the count, running it full, 3 balls and 2 strikes, with Fagerlund leading off of first base and Wahlberg, the hometown hero, in the on-deck circle. Fagerlund's off on the pitch as a ground ball gets past the pitcher. Burmistrov picks up, throws it over to first base. Throw draws the first baseman off the bag. As Nordsell is going to get on first base with an error by Burmistrov. Throw just kind of sailed up and away on Burmistrov, drawing Kodahowski off of first base. That's going to put runners at first and second with the hometown hero, Victor Wahlberg, up to bat. They're going to let Wahlberg swing away as runners are now at first and second with nobody out here in the top of the 5th inning. Wahlberg with a deep drive into center field. Going back is Dimitriev, but unable to catch the ball at the warning track as Wahlberg digs for third base. Nordsell with a dive at home. He's going to be safe as the throw's not in time. We have a 2 RBI triple for the hometown favorite. Victor Wahlberg scores now. Sweden 11, Ukraine 0. As manager Yuri Boyko once again makes that trek to the mound to have a word with his pitcher. He makes the signal to the bullpen. We're going to have a pitching change here in the top of the 5th inning. A 2 RBI triple for Victor Wahlberg is going to bring a new pitcher on the mound for Ukraine. And we're back. New pitcher on the mound, number 10, Timothy Zadnapranye is now on the mound. His first pitch is going to sail up out of the zone for ball number 1. Of course, hometown hero Victor Wahlberg is leading off at third base after his 2 RBI triple. Big swing from Glimmerud is going to even up the count here at 1 ball and 1 strike, with Wahlberg leading off at third base with nobody out here in the top of the 5th. Sweden with 3 runs in the first, 2 in the third, 4 in the fourth. Finds itself with 2 runs already scored here to the 5th. As Glimmerud has worked himself into a 3 ball, 1 strike count. Another swing and a miss is going to bring the count full. That ball's going to sail up and away from Glimmerud, putting runners on the corners with nobody out here in the top of the 5th inning. Once again, for those of you just joining us, this tournament is being played in its full at 7 innings. These will not be the traditional 9-inning games. Is going to bring up number 29, Jakob Lindqvist. Lindqvist with a drive into right field. That's going to get down on the warning track past the right fielder, Sharametta. Wahlberg's going to score easily. Glimmerud going halfway on the contact. Had to wait to advance to third base. If Sharametta could have caught the ball, he dove for it, unable to make the catch on the warning track. Lindqvist is going to find himself on second base with a RBI double. Sharametta gave chase, but unable to come up with the grab. As Herne swings through a pitch. As I stated before, the Ukrainian outfield was playing a bit shallower than they were in the first few innings. As we have a balk call. That's a no pitch as balk is called on Zadnapranya. That's going to bring the score to 13-0. The count remains 1-1 on Horner. Ball swung on and fouled away. Count is full with Lindqvist leading off at third base. That ball sailing up and away is going to be a walk for Herne. That's putting runners on the corners as number 23, Lucas Yelnor, steps up to bat. Ukraine hoping for another double play as the infielders squeeze the middle of the field. Herne with a bit of a delayed steal. The old shuffle, shuffle, go. It's going to put him at second base as that pitch can't find the zone. Catcher Shetsov out to talk to his pitcher to settle him down. Anybody who's ever pitched has probably had to come in a game like this where it's 13-0 and everybody wants that ball to go over the plate. It's a lot harder than it looks, folks. I can tell you that right now. As that ball is going to get to the backstop and get away. Lindqvist is going to find himself crossing home plate, and Herne is going to find himself at third base as that wild pitch is going to score a run and move a runner to third base. Yelnor with a hit by pitch is going to find himself on first base. That's going to put runners on the corners. And nobody out. Manager Yuri Boyko once again heading to the mound to make a pitching change. Center fielder Yevgeny Dmitriev is now going to be on the mound. There will be a defensive replacement in the outfield as Zadna Pranya will leave the mound. Runners on the corners and nobody out in the top of the fifth inning. Sweden 14, Ukraine nothing. And we're back here in the top of the fifth inning. As center fielder, now pitcher, Yevgeny Dmitriev finds himself on the mound. Another defensive substitution for Ukraine in center field. Stanislav Nikolenko. And now playing second base, Oleksiy Hertsenko. As the first pitch from Dmitriev doesn't find the zone. Now batting for Sweden, number 32, Sam Hammond. As Yelnor takes off on the pitch and finds himself at second base. I don't know what the official score is going to rule, but I'm simply calling that defensive indifference as Ukraine trying to get outs wherever it can. As that pitch sails up and in, bringing the count to 2 balls and no strike. Yeah, it's going to be a 4-pitch walk as Hammond finds himself loading the bases. That's going to bring up number 27, Felix Hill. Bases loaded, nobody out. Fagerlund on deck. New pitcher Dmitriev with a 4-pitch walk. That ball sailing over the head of Hill. That's going to be ball number 8. And unfortunately for Dmitriev, that walk's going to put a run across and keep the bases loaded. Sweden now leading this contest 15-0. As second baseman Emil Fagerlund comes up to bat. That's going to be Dmitriev's first strike, as that'll even up the count here. 1-1. That ball unfortunately gets away from Dmitriev, and it's going to be a hit by pitch. Unfortunately, that hit by pitch is also going to bring out the manager. Manager Boyko looks like he's going to be calling on right fielder Ilya Sheremetyev to come in out of right field. He's going to be then sending Dmitriev into right field to be a direct switch right field and pitcher, as Sheremetyev is now on the bump for Ukraine. So as Sharametta finishes his warm-up pitches, would bring up the fact that this is a tournament, and both teams are in Group B. There are 4 teams in Group B. That means there will be 3 group games for each team here today, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, group games. And then either a relegation round game or a semifinal game would be played on Friday for one of these teams. So this is a tournament of 7 innings, so the rosters are not as big as a normal European Championship. Therefore, saving pitching in a situation like that is going to be paramount for Ukraine later in the tournament, as well as it is for Sweden's pitcher to go as far as he can in order to set up pitching later in the tournament, as Group A only has 3 teams in it. That's going to bring up the leadoff hitter, Elias Nordsell. Nordsell 2 for 4, as he was able to reach base last inning on an error from Bermistrov. Unfortunately for Sharametta, he finds himself in a deep hole, 3 balls and no strikes. Umpire didn't want to give the strike. That's going to be ball 4, giving Sweden a 17-0 lead. It's going to bring up the hometown hero, a man that already has a 2 RBI triple, Victor Wahlberg. That's going to be a first pitch strike for Sharametta. That ball sails up and out of the zone. And a 1-1 count here with the bases loaded in the top of the 5th inning. Umpire didn't want to give that one. Close pitch. Going to keep the count here at 2-1. Of course, with a 17-0 lead, many of you out there might be saying that the umpire should be opening up the zone a bit. I would tend to agree. However, that's easier said than done. I have a lot of respect for the umpiring crew here at this tournament. Close pitches from the pitcher could go either way. That's going to bring the count here full. Bases loaded and nobody out. That ball missing well out of the zone. As a big turn from Fagerlund at third base. Catcher's going to send him back with a look. Score now 18-0 for Sweden. As that's going to bring up number 41, Tobias Glimmerud. Glimmerud 0 for 1 on the day with 3 walks. That fastball finding the zone for Sharametta. Glimmerud hammering it foul down the right field line. That ball is going to get on the netting, protecting the cars down the right field line, giving Sharametta an 0-2 count against Glimmerud. Another ball fouled away, keeping the count at no balls and 2 strikes. Bigger crowd slowly filtering in here into the Ahorn ballpark as Glimmerud takes a ball up and away, evening the count up here at 2 balls and 2 strikes. Perfect weather here in Paderborn. As that ball sails up and away, bringing it back to 3 balls and 2 strikes. A few Swedish flags being hung up down the right field side bleachers. Is that ball just missing the zone? Giving Sweden another run as that walk puts Fagerlund across and Glimmerud on first base. As manager Boyko once again heads to the mound. As I was saying, a few Swedish flags being hung up behind home plate down the first base line as more and more spectators start to filter into the stadium. Of course, the next game, our 2 o'clock game today, will have Denmark taking on Belgium. As both teams have already started to prepare for the 2 o'clock game. Games today are played at 10 o'clock in the morning. That is this game currently being played. And at 2 o'clock, Denmark, Belgium, and the nightcap, the 6 o'clock game, will have Lithuania, the visitor on the scoreboard, taking on the home team, Germany. As I said, Group A finds itself with Germany, Lithuania, and Poland. And Group B finds itself with Belgium, Denmark, Sweden, and Ukraine. So 4 hours in between both games. Not a lot of field maintenance having to be done here at the Ahorn ballpark as the entire field is AstroTurf. That will probably be a subject of conversation as the week goes throughout. The entire infield, including the mound and home plate, are AstroTurf. However, instead of a rubber filling, the Untouchables Paderborn Baseball Club decided to go with sand and a wood mixture. Supposedly, the wood mixture keeps the field from getting as hot as when it is filled with rubber. Plays about the same, in my opinion. As I said, field maintenance, not a big working effort on this field. However, last night, Sport Director Alper Butskert dragging the field, making sure that it was at optimal conditions for both teams this morning at 10 o'clock. New pitcher on the mound for Ukraine, and he's going to be facing number 29, Jacob Lindqvist. Lindqvist with a strikeout, a double, and 2 singles. As that ball just missing the zone. Like I said, now pitching for Ukraine is number 3, Alexei Hertsenko. As Lindqvist fouls a ball straight back. Sharameta moved off the mound and is now playing second base as Lindqvist fouls that ball back, making the count 1 ball and 2 strikes. And Seiko starts the delivery, the kick, and the pitch. Little breaking ball that's going to get hit into left field. Holubitsky making the catch. Throwing the ball into Steinkloff. It's going to be a sac fly for Lindquist in here in the top of the 5th inning, keeping runners at first and second, bringing the score to Sweden 20, Ukraine nothing. Little drive from Horner into shallow center field. Center fielder dives for the ball. Shvetsov unable to come up with the grab. Runners were holding up. That single is going to load the bases once again as both runners unable to advance more than one base on the hit. That's going to bring up number 23, Lucas Yellner. Horn gave it a ride. And Nikolenko gave a great effort as that pitch just missing. I'm sure the Ukrainian team would love to start getting some of those calls here as they find themselves down by 20 runs here in the top of the 5th. Of course, Ukraine trying to save pitching as they have another 2 group games and then possible games on Friday and Saturday. That ball just missing downstairs as number 32, Sam Hammond, steps up to bat. On deck is number 27, Felix Hill. Hammond fouls that one back out of play, evening the count back up here at 1 ball and 1 strike. That ball missing down and away. It's always difficult for managers in these tournament formats when they find themselves down by many runs to find that one person who can put that ball over the plate and just get a few outs. As Hammond pops that ball up behind the second baseman, Sheremetyev. Sheremetyev makes the grab. Glimmerud with a bluff to home as Sheremetyev throws the ball into the catcher, Shvetsov. Hammond popped up and out on the play. That's going to give Ukraine 2 outs. Bases are going to remain loaded, but 2 outs. And that's going to bring up number 27, Felix Hill. Hitsenko getting it out, making it 2 outs for himself, and finds himself with an 0-1 count on Hill. Strike call given. Umpire's going to give it for strike 3. And that's going to end the inning here. Sweden with 12 runs here in the top of the 5th. Leading 21-0. We're heading to the bottom of the 5th inning. Sweden 21, Ukraine 0. And we're back here in the bottom of the 5th inning. Pitching change for Sweden as Markström takes over on the mound. 21-run lead as Markström starts Kotohowski out with a ball. Once again in that tournament format, managing the pitching is paramount for success. So I'm sure we will be seeing Linus Rietzen again somewhere in this tournament after only throwing 4 innings today. As that ball just misses the zone. And Kotohowski finds himself in a 3-ball, no-strike count. Little dribbler tap towards second base. Fagerlund unable to come up with the ground ball. As I said, it wasn't hit very hard. Looked like Fagerlund rushed the transfer as he went down to get the ground ball. Kotohowski's going to find himself on first base. Reaching on an error from Fagerlund. That's going to bring up number 3, the pitcher, Oleksiy Hertsenko. Hertsenko took over in the top of the 5th inning and was able to quell the onslaught from Sweden with a strikeout looking to end the top of the 5th. Hirtsenko with a swing and a breaking ball down in the zone. On deck is number 4, Vladimir Sulasenko. There's a swing and a miss on a ball that's going to get past the catcher head to the backstop. Hirtsenko is not able to go, as there was a runner at first base with less than 2 outs on a swing and miss that gets past the catcher. The batter is directly out. However, on the play, Godahowski is able to reach second base. That brings up pinch hitter number 4, Vladimir Sluzarenko. Ball misses the zone. As Markstrom finds himself down in a hole, 3 balls and no strikes. Not throwing a lot of competitive strikes with a 21-run lead. Pitches are close, but not close enough. That's a walk that's going to put Sluzarenko on first base. And that's going to bring up the third baseman, number 20, Matvey Steiklov. Steiklov with the ground out on the day towards first base. As Markstrom just misses the strike zone downstairs. Again, runners at first and second with 1 out in the bottom of the 5th inning. This morning's gentle breeze has picked up as I see the flags waving more and more, blowing straight out to center field. The Swedish fans with their flags on the stadium tribune are also waving as the wind picks up a bit more here into the afternoon hours. Markstrom with a strike, bringing the count to 2 balls and 1 strike. Once again, Sweden playing with a very shallow outfield. That fastball is going to even up the count here at 2 balls and 2 strikes. With number 14, Yevgeny Dmitriev on deck. That breaking ball is going to lock him up and sit him down. As we now have 2 outs with runners on first and second base, and number 14, Yevgeny Dmitriev up to bat. That ball well out of the zone. I'm sure manager Tony Klarberg would like to see Markstrom throw a few more competitive pitches here to induce a few ground balls. That ball almost hitting Dmitriev. That 3 balls, and no strikes. That walk's going to load the bases. Now batting for Ukraine, number 8, Artem Holubitsky. Little off-speed pitch from Markstrom, struggling to find the zone as Sweden leads Ukraine 21-0 in the bottom of the 5th. Now you may remember earlier I mentioned as the Ukraine pitcher towed the rubber down by 18, that it can be difficult for a pitcher to keep his concentration. There is the flip side to that, folks, and that is a pitcher being on the mound with a 21-0 lead. That young man out there understands his job, but that concentration and that focus can sometimes wander with such a big lead, as Markstrom finds the strike zone finally to bring the count to 2 balls and 1 strike. It's that adrenaline. It's that energy. Up by 21 or down by 21, you'll find as a pitcher it's fairly the same. As a little breaking ball is swung on, evening the count back up to 2 balls and 2 strikes with 2 outs and the bases loaded in the top of the 5th inning. That ball sails out of Markstrom's hand. Finds himself with a full count. The runners will be off on the pitch. And the runners are off. That ball just missing down and away. That's going to give Ukraine its first run of the day. As Holubitsky's on first base with a 2-out walk. That's going to bring up the shortstop, number 6, Mikita Burmistrov. That ball chasing Burmistrov out of the box a little bit as it sails inside. That's going to be a strike, evening up the count here at 1 ball and 1 strike. Check down to first base on the check swing. And yes, he did, said the first base umpire. That's going to give a 1 ball and 2 strike count. Bermistrov with a pop-up behind second base as the hometown hero Victor Wahlberg makes the grab. We're going to find ourselves with a shortened game today as Sweden is going to beat Ukraine 21-1 in mercy rule through 5 innings. As I stated before, we have a game at 2 o'clock, and that is going to be Denmark taking on Belgium. As this game's in the books, Sweden 21, Ukraine 1. We'll be back with the lineups at game time for Denmark and Belgium at 2 o'clock. Once again, perfect weather here in Paderborn, Germany. If you're in the area or if you feel like coming down this week, the weather is perfect to be outside and enjoy a game of baseball. We'll be back for Denmark and Belgium.
En kunnen ze het zelf ook zien? Ja, we kunnen het zelf ook zien. Oh my god, dat is...